I think we take it for granted. The connections we make in community. There's disconnect online, there's disconnect in not reading body language, holding eye contact, feeding off energy. So when we do come together in a world that grows apart, what can we make?
It's a mix. Sometimes I find it easy, sometimes I don't. I think the biggest thing for me, because I moved here about 5 years ago, was the culture change. So I find it difficult to connect with people in that sense. I don't know. I find that most of the friendships I make in any environment, in university or at work, it becomes a very high-buy relationship, or we'll only speak to each other when we're in this scenario and nowhere else. It's been difficult to find a friendship that's very much mutual and it's like, hey, let's explore this outside. So when I do have that, it's a huge privilege to me. And I think it might be also as a result of the era of technology we're living in at the moment. I think it's a lot to do with social media. I think it's a lot of looking down and not directly at each other. And I think the way in which that connects to environment, where we are now, I think that's a privilege. Because as we were saying earlier, like when you walk in, we weren't really looking up, but when we look up now, it's so beautiful. And we've been here many times, but we've never done that before. So it's very interesting. I think yes, because I'm not really getting a reaction. You know what I mean? It's like I'm just here to admire. Yeah.
It's very, very important. I think people forget that we're all in this together. I think with climate change and with global warming, we forget that global aspect. I think we very much think, oh, it's just, third world countries or countries with fewer resources than us, and that's it. But we have to remember it's all of us together.
At first, I didn't know anything, but I definitely think it has been impacting a lot of different cultures and societies, especially those from more rural backgrounds who, because of climate change, they're unable to do their usual work or get the money they'd usually be able to get. And because of that, they're unable to rebuild and maybe get out of situations they were in. And also because of that, a lot of children are missing schools. And of course, we know that education is the foundation of everything, and education is very important. So children missing schools doesn't just make an impact on that generation, but the generations to come as well. I think it's more about more communication with the community. I think most of the time climate change is seen as very exclusive idea where not many people actually know how it impacts society or the impact it directly has on them, or the indirect impact it has on them. I think the global call would be to have it in our education system where people know climate change is happening and they know the impacts of it, so that they can have the chance to care or have the chance to be more aware of it.
Yeah, definitely. If people put their armors and their guards down a little bit, they can definitely do that. Everyone can do that. Yeah. And now I'll tell you why. I think a lot of our opinions are not actually our opinions because we don't have enough experience or evidence to kind of back that up. So when it comes to conversations with people, when it comes to the news, comes to social media, we just kind of run with what other people say, especially when there are things that are happening in the world and we don't have an idea of why they're happening. We want to fill in the gaps because we're story-based people. We are humans. We're very story-based. We want to fill in the gaps. So when somebody has an answer for us, this is why this is happening, then we run with it. It kind of gives us a bit of closure. For the community to change, we need to look into ourselves. Nothing changes outwardly until something changes inwardly. So self-awareness is a very underrated tool, and I'm not talking about pop social self-awareness. I'm talking about the real thing, really understanding the whats and the whys within us. So I don't think we can have an answer for everybody else as a community until we start looking at number one. I think that's the way forward.
As humans, we were always meant to stay connected, even through disconnect. We were always made to help, to provide, to feel sad, to feel helpless, to feel joy in company, to meet new people, to grow, to learn, to become better. But in a world, our world, where we are growing apart, where on the same earth, those who are celebrated on rooftops live on the same soil as those who do not see water for days, how does the world come together then? How do we pause and bring our communities together? It's time we came together. As much as it may be a struggle to accept, humankind will always be interconnected. Our pain will always be felt in ripples. Our wins will trickle through society and time. So now is the time we come together.